Butler against Pygmy Cockeye Jim from Thailand. South Africa, Thailand, WBO, IBO. Couple of women they're coming up in a lift. Now that's a first. We've had a motorbike, we've had a parachute, we've had a donkey, we've had a man in a cage with a lion that he killed with his hands. But this guy's come up in a lift. It's beautiful. I love it. When we go over, it's going to be the smooth voice of boxing, but the first voice you're going to hear after Barry Jones, the former WBO Super Heavyweight Champion, is going to be, oh yes, John Rawlins. Take it away, boys, and enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Good evening to you. The action tonight from the Salon Médecin in Monte Carlo Casino on the square, right in the middle of the Principality. And the first man into the ring is the Thai Pygmy Cockeye Jim, who's 32 years old and vastly experienced, as you've been hearing. He has had 60 professional fights. No effects whatsoever.
Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, please now welcome into the ring the champion, Heki Butler.
Duncan Pollock makes the introduction for Heki Butler, the 26-year-old South African, now based in Johannesburg, and known to his South African fans as, well, I'm sure you get it, the Hexecutioner. Been a pro since 2007, and this is the second defence of this title. Sixth defence of the IBO belt as well, but the WBA, the main title at stake, if you like, here. And he's South Africa's only reigning world champion. Models himself to some extent on that great hero, the little man of years gone by, who I used to love watching fight, Jake Matlala. Sadly died at the back end of last year, former flyweight and light flyweight champion of the WBO. And here comes Heki Butler. Well, we thought he was. Slight lift malfunction. Is he going to emerge? Yes, he is. Not a lot of atmosphere in this auditorium, and I don't imagine, Barry, that helps the fighters.
No, it's not. It's sometimes hard to get inspired, but at this particular moment of coming into the ring, you just focus on your performance to come, and obviously the nerves, and trying to just calm yourself and keep your mind on the fight. So once the fight starts, the atmosphere won't really matter to the boxers, but when you're coming up in that lift, I imagine not hearing any of the crowd will be a little bit worrying for the boxers.
Trained by Colin Nathan, South Africa's Trainer of the Year. They've been together since 2006, when Nathan spotted him as an amateur, made his debut as a pro.
Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen,
introductions.
Ahead of us introducing the fighters and the officials to you. If I could ask you all please to stand for the respective playing of the Thai and South African national anthems.
Well, a very emotional corner, Pygmy Cockeye Jim and his father there, believing tonight is his night, and he looks in great shape.
Sige
South Africa. Now,
Well, we saw him at the weigh-in yesterday, Pygmy Cockett Jim, and looking in terrific shape. And now a little belatedly here again, Duncan Pollock.
Tonight's KO at the Casino, the second official bout on the card this evening in the professional division, and it is the only world title fight. It's in the strawweight division for the IBO and WBA strawweight world title, scheduled for 12 rounds. Our three judges at ringside, Trois Juges, Monsieur Juan Manuel Garcia Reyes from Spain, Monsieur Ferland Marsh from New Zealand, and Monsieur Pavel Cardini from Poland. Our two fight supervisors from the IBO, Mr. Hilton Whittaker III from the United States, and our fight supervisor from the WBA from England, Mr. Dave Roden. Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, the third man in the ring when that opening bell goes is our referee, arbitre from the United States, Mr. Raul Caiz Sr. Introducing the challenger to you, he boxes out of the red rouge corner on my right. He weighed in at 47.6 kilograms. As a professional, 52 wins, 6 losses and 2 draws. 22 of those 52 wins coming within the distance. He boxes in the red trunks with black trim. Ladies and gentlemen, the former PABA champion, former WBF strawweight world champion, former and current WBC Asian Boxing Council strawweight champion, the challenger tonight, from Chayapum, Thailand, Pygmy Cockett Jim. Out of the blue corner, on my left, the champion. He weighed in at 47.6 kilograms as well. As a professional, 26 wins with just a single loss. 8 of those 26 wins coming within the distance. He boxes in the white trunks with red trim. He hails from Newlands in Johannesburg, South Africa. A proud member of Colin Nathan's Hot Box Gym in Rosettenville. The former South African light flyweight champion, former undefeated All-Africa champion, the former IBO junior flyweight champion, currently rated #1 by FightNews.com and Ring Magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, the current International Boxing Organization and World Boxing Association strawweight champion of the world, Heki, the Executioner, Butler.
Punches behind the back of the head. Shake hands. Good luck to both you guys. Ready?
Well, this is, as you've heard, world title at minimum weight, 12 rounder. And Heki Budler won the title. It was the interim title last November. Subsequently upgraded after beating Hernan Vercelli of Argentina. And then had a defense in March, which ended in a first-round knockout win of Carlos Diaz of Colombia. Cockett Jim, well, he's been a professional fighter now for some 15 years. No shortage of experience, and came very close to taking the title back in 2010. Blamed a shoulder injury on that occasion, and he's lost only 1 fight in 11 years.
And both very aggressive fighters, so I think we're in for a good fight tonight.
Watch your heads, gentlemen. Watch your heads.
Possible unification fight coming up for the winner of this one, the IBF champion, the Japanese fighter Katsunori Takayama. A clear option. Butler, of course, very much the favourite to win this one, but I don't think he's going to have an easy night of it.
No, but he started nice and fast though, but nice sharp counter in there, as we've just seen. Taking the centre of the ring, which is a smart move against usually an aggressive fighter, and trying to keep him on the back foot behind the jab.
Like many a Thai fighter, Pygmy Kokiet Jim, not the name he was born with. They pick up the names and nicknames from whichever gym they're fighting out of. He was born Vicha Fulakor. Has fought under other names, which I won't attempt to pronounce for you, in years gone by. Been a pro since he was 18 years old, and here in his 61st fight.
Kokek Jim just been a little bit too predictable at the moment. Just needs to get a little more head movement to get into range to throw the shots. But they're doing a good job of keeping him on the end of those long punches.
Butler's won his last 8 fights. Nice body shot. Saw Brian Mitchell on the microphone at the weigh-in yesterday. What a fighter he was back in the day. WBA featherweight champ, super featherweight champion for 5 years or so. He had 12 successful defences. Remember that fight at the Elephant and Castle against Jim McDonnell?
Yeah.
And you think he was always on, it was during the old apartheid era, and Mitchell always had to fight on foreign territory. He was some fighter.
Yeah, phenomenal, real phenomenal fighter who, because of apartheid, sort of struggled, didn't he, to get the big fights that he needed to really cement his name as a great fighter. But a good round there for me for Butler. I think he kept Kokiet Jim on the back foot, and a nice positive start.
That's the last one.
Start looking for counters. I don't want you following him around too much. He's trying to draw you in for that shot over the top, the right hand over the top, okay?
Right hand that you're talking about there, that's clearly the shot that he's looking for, the Thai.
Yeah, but he's too far away to throw it. There's no head movement to come in close, so it's almost, in many ways, it's almost telegraphed. But they're keeping a nice tight guard, you know, blocking most things that are coming his way, and then making sure he gets out sharp counter. So a good start. Kokiet Jim, I thought he would have started a lot faster. Maybe he's just taking a round to get into it. I expect him to be more aggressive and put more pressure on Butler as the rounds go on.
That is a serious chandelier. You don't get those for 10 quid from B&Q. Other outlets are available, of course.
You know, John, you've got one.
Not quite that size. There's that right hand again. Okay? And one's flown in low.
Take your time. Just relax. Pick him up. Over.
Really affected him as well, hasn't it? Just a right hand over the top from Kokiet Jim, and then a little low left, so hook come uppercut. Just caught the guard.
You got 5 minutes.
Caught a bit more than the guard by the looks of it. He's struggling, isn't he? Let's have another look at it. There's the right. Oh, dear me. We're watching and that makes your eyes water.
You need a doctor, baby?
Well, not surprisingly, he'll take his time.
Dislocate his knee more than anything.
He's been told, as you heard, he's giving him 5 minutes to which he's entitled. Still not looking 100%, is he?
Time in. Come here. Shake hands. Both of you keep it.
It's the worst effect if something gets trapped, I'm told. Ever happened to you, Barry?
I've been lucky enough, John. No. I never stood in front of anybody. That was my my luck and also my curse. I wouldn't want to exchange with anybody, but so I never had those unfortunate things happen. But it looks like he's recovered now, and
he'll be perhaps a wee bit wary of Kokiet Jim's left hand from now. didn't really have a particularly stern word with him, did he?
No.
Raul Kaiz, I think he'd have been within his rights to just suggest to Cockett Jim that he didn't want to see that again.
Again, a little bit more reserved than I thought from Cockett Jim. I thought he would be right on Budler, really, a lot of rolling the shoulders and making more room for that right hand, but he's obviously wary of Budler, so he's just taking a little bit more of a cautious approach, and for me that's what's giving Budler just a slight edge. Taking a second, lovely combination there for Budler, off the jab again, working the body well.
Look at Jim now, 32 years old, and for the very littlest of fighters, that's fairly advanced years. Both of them used to travelling the full championship distance. Budler's done it on 9 occasions, Cockett Jim on 4.
Nice little left hook, close there from Cockett Jim, but again it's Budler always having the last say in the exchanges.
Tiny fellas, these two, both standing around about 5'1", 5'2".
Well, not tiny, John.
Well, relatively tiny.
Depends who you're talking to.
Dave Roden, WBA supervisor, sitting on the far side from the commentary position.
Well, tiny compared to him.
Yeah, he's about 6'3" of him, isn't he? He's a big lad. Ex-heavyweight in the Midlands area.
Very good round this for Budler.
10 seconds, stop with the
When
foul.
Cockett Jim has any sort of success, but it's not much at the moment. He's just out hustling him, out working him, paying him back in dividends. And another good round there for Budler, better than the first.
Well, Cockett Jim holding his gloves up as he goes back to the corner, but I'm not sure that he's conning anybody.
Listen. Shots to this one.
Yeah.
I want you to start using your brain now, okay? You stop. You can take a shot, right? So we're going to outwit him and outskill him, okay? Angles, quick hands, that jab down the middle. After you score, do something with your feet. Move, okay? When he backs up, listen to me. When he backs up, easy,
Well, good advice there from Budler's corner, but I think he's doing a lot of those things that they're asking for. I think he is throwing that jab down the centre. He is using very fast hands, and he's worked the body a bit. He's working a bit more now, but when he has worked it, he's had success with doing so. So I think he's boxing superb right now.
Well, he was clearly the boss of that second round, wasn't he? Cockett Jim had his moments with the overhand right in the opening round, but the one low blow apart, that really belonged to Budler, that round too.
Yeah, and just seeing the replays there, we just showing the good, nice little left hook, right hook to the body there from Budler, and again just a little bit sharper when they both throw hooks. Budler to one who lands a cleaner of the two. That's a bit more positive there from Cockett Jim. He has to really take the fight to Budler, try and push him back if he can.
Fights tonight, or a crowd tonight rather, observing the dress code. You have to be suited and booted here. If you've never been to Monaco, by the way, be sure to bring your cash. It is not a cheap place to come to.
Luckily, John, you're sat next to me, so I'm all right. Again, it looks like Cockett Jim's looking to try and counter. The problem is, Budler's landing with the punches, and when Cockett Jim does throw his shots, he's throwing back straight away. So the tactics are not working at the moment.
It's not been fought quite at the intensity that I'd anticipated, Barry. Sometimes these little guys really throw absolutely phenomenal numbers of punches.
Well, watching this week, watching the both fighters, on the computer, you see all the work rate that both of Budler's doing what he does, but Cockett Jim's not. He's been far more aggressive in previous fights and had success doing so. A bit like that, that's better from him.
And a couple of decent body shots before that as well, and an uppercut in there, right hand got through. Now Budler trying to return it, a lot of those off target though. And Cockett Jim just dropping his gloves contemptuously, as much as to say, you can't touch me. Butler, for whatever reason, maybe getting the respect from that right hand, which goes through again. He's just taking the foot off the gas a little bit in round 3.
Yeah, just clip Cocker Jim, a nice little left hook coming forward, and again there.
Feature, I'm pretty sure they'll be calling him that in the corner. Has a good round here, the little Thai challenger. It's been his best so far. Every time he lands, you hear the great shriek of support from his corner. Doubling up nicely with the left hand again, Butler.
Yes, nice little finish to the round there from Butler.
10 seconds, stop at the bell.
That right hand was blocked there.
Stop at the bell. Stop!
Well, that's the end of the third round, and for me, a third round that I think the challenger's had his best time, has his best moments.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think he started a little bit faster, which he had to, obviously. I think Butler got into it a little bit at the end of the round.
The Prince, the big boss, loves his sport. Great patron of athletics as well as now boxing, and of course Formula One. Prince Michael used to love to go out partying in the old Raskas bar just down beneath the palace, and the Sass bar down the... I suppose he has to be a bit more careful now he's married.
Showing the good work there at Cocker Jim, but that's a nice little sharp left hook that Butler's had a lot of success with.
Box.
So into the fourth round.
Clean that a little bit better. Clean that better.
Butler just needs to get back on the money.
Well, the corner asked him to do a little bit of smart boxing, outthink his opponent, but I don't think he needs to give away any ground. You don't want to give Cocker Jim any encouragement to come forward, because that's when he's at his best. I think keeping the centre of the ring and keeping him pushing back with that long jab was what was working for Butler. Sometimes you can be too cute, try and think too clever, and almost allow while you're thinking, trying to be too smart, allow the guy into the fight. Good jab though there from Butler, and two nice jabs there from him.
The Midland journalist Matt Boziat, who's always helping us with our research here on Box Nation, he tells me that there's a little fella who's 40 years old from the Yemen called Ali Reimer, who's had 20 wins out of 20, all stoppages in the first round, and he now wants to fight a light heavyweight. Matt suggests to me that he's nuts. Must be able to hit.
They produce some good boxers, those Yemen.
Yeah, there was one very good one, wasn't there?
Barry Jones.
That guy who came out of Sheffield.
Oh, Prince Nazim Hamid. I remember him.
I know, sir. It's gonna slip. All right, go. Box.
Butler caught again by that right hand. Jim has had success with that.
Good little response there though from Butler. Just needs to keep backing him up with the jab. And again go with the right hand. Just bringing that jab to the chest, not back up high tight defence that he had in the first two rounds.
No backhand, no backhand. No backhand.
Better from Cocker Jim again. No, he's up working Butler.
He looks really up for this, Barry. He's going to give Butler a hard night.
And even though probably Butler's maybe landed with more shots in this round, I think the quality for me has come from Cocker Jim. I think the harder shots.
Better for Butler, and he gets through with a solid right hand. He touched down momentarily. And has he given a knockdown? He has. He doesn't like it, but he touched down as a result of that straight right hand, which appeared to be the one which did the damage, straight down the tube.
Yeah, the glove just momentarily touched the floor, and then the referee, rightly within the rules, had to give an 8 count.
Well, that had looked as though it was a close round prior to the knockdown. He doesn't like it one bit. Interesting to see a replay of that one if our directors are able to dig one out.
The success he's having is when you go to him and you forget to move your head. You got to box.
Nice little straight punches there. And Cocker Jim just off balance, and the glove for me touched the ground, and that rightly is a.
He was trying to use the ropes, wasn't he? He was trying to ride the punches by using the ropes, but the referee there, with the rather startlingly dark hair, Raul Kaiz, he's right in giving the knockdown.
Yeah, but that's the rules, isn't it? You know, if a glove touches the floor or a knee touches the floor, then it's a knockdown. So, Cocker Jim couldn't keep his balance, wasn't hurt, but couldn't keep his balance, and that's a great round there now for Butler, who was, for the most part, just struggling again to find his range.
The fight just looked as though it was just in danger of starting to become a real problem for Butler, but now that'll be scored a 10-8 round by the Polish, New Zealand and Spanish judges, and that'll give him a nice little buffer. He may be 3 points up on our card as a result of that.
Nice fast hands there again for Butler. That's what he was doing in the first couple of rounds. He needs to go back to that, keep that centre of that ring.
He anticipated the right hand coming, didn't he? And after Cockett Jim had committed himself, punished him, doubling up with the left hand.
Well, I think Cocker Jim, who's not a... No, he's committed when he comes forward, right? He's quite predictable. It is always that big right hand over the top, followed by a left hook to the ribs. So you know what's coming with him when he mounts an attack.
You get the left hand to the ribs if you're lucky.
It's good from Butler. Just doesn't want to close the gap too much when he throws that right hand.
He's trying to load up on his punches, isn't he?
Keep his hand nice high there, Cocker Jim, trying to let a few combinations go, but hitting the gloves. But doesn't want to get too close. Even if he doesn't want to commit himself with the jab, just touch him with the jab, just to keep that distance, keep his range. Oh, lovely, nice little spin there. Just touching the elbow there of Cocker Jim, spinning him round and then getting that left hook into play.
The Hexecutioner, Heki Budler, having another good round here in the fifth.
And it's all when he takes the centre ring, isn't it? It's all when he keeps pushing back Cocker Jim. When the two previous rounds, just let Cocker Jim just come forward, trying to be a little bit too clever, but then allowed him back into the fight almost. So keeping the centre ring, using your strength, pushing the smaller man back is obviously working. And working very well in this round. Again, that little spin there off Butler, just changing the angle to get the hooks into play.
Warming up a bit now. And for the most part, it's Butler who's applying the heat.
Seconds, stop at the bell.
Yeah, it's been all Butler in this round for me.
No, slip.
No knockdown this time.
Box.
And that's a clear round for the South African, who's now starting to build up a decent lead on the cards.
I think his work rate's better. You know, he always throws, he blocks and throws punches straight away. And when he takes that centre ring, I keep saying, takes the centre ring and pushes Cocker Jim back with the jab, he has all the success.
That was when he moved and turned and spun him.
He's done that a couple of times in the round, didn't he? And then just opens up the body there for the left hook. You're on the side of the opponent, he can't counter you, and then you can let your punches go almost almost with free range. Just to let people know there are men in the crowd.
Mouthpieces in, seconds out. Dry that up, babe. Dry that up. Get back. Go, box.
Our director now concentrating once more on the boxing as we move into the 6th round. Two landing simultaneously, and you got the impression again that the heavier shot came from Budler. Cockett Jim on the front foot though as this 6th round begins. Surely been told by his corner that he needs to raise the intensity of his work. Got to try and battle his way back here, claw his way back.
Well, he's a roll-on fight, isn't he? So he needs to keep the momentum coming forward. He can't.
That's more like it.
A roll-on fighter struggles when he's pushed on the back foot. Lovely fast hands there from Budler. Not all of them landed, but it's a nice flashy combination. They throw in 4, 2 get through, and that's enough.
And even if they're hitting on the arms, they have a sort of a wearing effect.
Yeah.
Watch your heads, watch your heads.
A couple of those left hands did get through into the rib cage of Cockett Jim.
Yeah, and Budler just pivoting around Cockett Jim and getting the angles for the shots. That was better from Cockett Jim. He didn't land with that lead left uppercut, but he made the space fit, just a little dip with the shoulder, and he needs a little bit more of that lateral move, a little bit more head movement when he is coming forward. Again, Cockett Jim landing with the right hand, but then he just throws the single punch, and Budler responds with 3 or 4. Even if they don't land, it looks like he's having the better of the exchanges.
Yeah, it's coming from a long way back, that right hand as well, isn't it? Budler sees it coming, and it doesn't. No suggestion so far that the South African's not able to take that shot, even when it gets through.
Nice little right hand and a left hook landing in close there from Budler. Again, they're always just having just a slight edge when they're both throwing the punches at the same time.
Dusk outside across the bay.
This is where ring generalship is so important, isn't it? You can see the difference when Budler takes that centre of the ring and just almost orchestrates Cockett Jim around the ring. And once he takes a backward step, it allows Cockett Jim to come forward. But again, in that round for me, Budler controlling things in every department.
Halfway stage of the fight. Barring the 3rd round, we've pretty much given everything to Budler. Cockett Jim was having a decent 4th round until he wound up getting knocked down. Not obligatory for the judges to give it 10-8, though I suspect they will.
Remember, you can spin, but don't spin him, okay? Yeah.
Cockett Jim with that right hand, he's kind of starting to look a little bit of a one-trick pony, isn't he?
Yeah, it's just a little bit telegraphed, and as I said earlier, Budler knows it's only a right hand and a left hook that he throws when he comes forward, so yeah, he needs a little bit more. He tipped the shoulder once and threw a lead left uppercut to Cockett Jim, and I think a little bit more of that, a bit more variety in his work coming forward might have more effect. But at the moment, like you said, John, he's a little bit too predictable for Budler, and a little bit too reserved in what he's trying to do.
Into the 2nd half of the fight. Every indication, though, that this one could well go the distance. Neither man really has been troubled particularly by the power of their opponent thus far. The older man, the Thai fighter, you see from those stats, he's had a lot more time in the ring. 340 odd rounds as a pro. That's a lot of mileage.
Yeah, it is, and like you said, being 32 and at such a small weight is almost being like 42, 52 as a middleweight and a light heavyweight sort of weight. So you know, it's
nothing wrong with being 52, Barry. I seem to remember.
It is when you get in the ring, John, and fight the 25-year-old.
I can imagine. Well, I can't, but I take the point.
But Cockeye Jim having a little bit of a nice start in this round.
Enthusiastic reaction again from the Thai corner. Just upped his work rate here in the 7th.
Butler landed with a cleaner punch there.
Good defensive work there from Cockett Jim, though, and a nod of appreciation from Butler. He knew that for the most part there he was punching fresh air.
Yeah, he was, only chasing shadows, wasn't he, there on the ropes. Good little lateral movement there from Cockeye Jim. He got a bit of skill. Doubling up with the right hand, good there, but they're nice.
Okay, Jim dominated the early stages of this round. Butler just starting to come back in this final minute. Is he going to be able to make the big finish? Right, yeah, there's a right hand from Butler, yeah. Definitely low.
Cockeye Jim making a miss for the best part, but the impression is that
Butler, he's gone down. Left hand to the body, right on the belt, and for the second time he's gone down, and that time very definitely a genuine knockdown. It was the left hand, I think, Barry, that did the damage.
Yeah, you know, he wasn't doing again another round when he wasn't doing too bad in either. You know, he's maybe having a better success, but another big round and a mountain to climb now for Cockeye Jim.
Yeah, he was hurt by that. He was winded. You could see when he went back to the corner as well. Confidence had drained out of him. He'd had his moments in that round.
Keep doing what you're doing. You can see that left hook there. He doesn't like left hook down. So that's where we're going to focus. Now listen to me. If you go down with the left hook, his right hand's over there.
He didn't like it one bit. Let's watch again. That one.
Oh, lovely. Right in the solar plexus, that one. Really was, took the breath away from him, so he done well to get up in that respect.
Now listen, don't get overconfident, don't get carried away, okay?
Butler turned back and looked to his corner as much as to say, yeah, that's the one I've been looking for. Great shot.
Just whips across, doesn't it? Across the stomach there. And those whipping shots are the ones that just take your breath. They're not rib crunching shots, but they just take your breath away.
Well, if there's any doubt now, or any doubt previously, I think it's now been eliminated, and I suggested that this fight looked as though it had the appearance of one which was going to go the distance. I'm not so sure now if he can target that area again like that. More of those, and Cockett Jimmy almost sagged down, thought he was going to take a knee there, and Butler knows it. Big attack, he's looking to take him out, and for the second time, third time now, he goes down, and it's the body shots that are taking their toll. I think he's just about all in.
Again, he done the right thing, didn't he? Jumped right down Cockeye Jim Butler, and that's what he should have done. He's flurrying upstairs and whipping the shots down below, just trying to lift the elbows up of Cockeye Jim. I said, no, I just think a sustained attack might be enough to stop this fight.
Big star back in South Africa, and you're starting to see why here. He looks as though he's going for the finish, and he's in no mood to let his little Thai challenger off the hook here. Another couple of big body shots, it could be all over. There's one, there's another. And I think that might be good night.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Is he going to get up? He's not.
9,
he's had enough.
10.
It's finished. It was the right hand finally that put him down. Left hook followed by a big right hand. The body shots have unravelled Cockett Jim. At 32, suddenly out there, he began to look an old and tired fighter. And the heavy body shots of this fairly impressive South African champion have carried the day.
I think it was a really good display there from Butler. You know, usually his work rate and his tenacity gets him through, but he showed a few smarts there. He kept a nice tight defence, you know, really concentrated on every time Cocker Jim did mount an attack. He blocked and countered everything. No, I don't think he was hurting him with the head shots, but the body shots. You know, he was making angles for the left hook, spinning and opening up the body for the left hook. And when he landed that one in the solar plexus there, he did the right thing there and coming out in the following round, kept the pressure on. A lot of head shots, lifting the elbows up and then whipping those body shots down below, and I'm really impressed. Good performance.
Good performance indeed. South African Rhino Lindenberg, who was standing there in the corner, giving congratulations. Colin Nathan, his trainer. And there's Butler's fiancée Roxy, who is due to marry in November. Well, he was in a lot of pain, wasn't he, with those body shots? And let's watch again how the end came. I said a couple of good body shots might do it. That was the one that really finished it.
And it almost looks like it don't hit him. It's those little whipping, touching shots, especially in the solar plexus. You know, there's no muscle around there. You can't defend against it. If you're caught there, it just takes the wind out of you, and there's nothing you can do.
He just had enough, Barry. I think that was it. It was just, you know, we say again and again in fights, don't we? Body shots have a cumulative effect.
Well, sometimes they weaken your chin as well. When your body's weak and you're weak upstairs, and sometimes you get hurt to the chin. That didn't happen in this fight, but if you look at the shot, you know, people might watch it and go, he barely touched him. I mean, but those whipping shots right across the stomach, they really, if you're caught right with them, there's nothing you can do.
Well, that lines up a possible unification fight, possibly later in the year against the Japanese IBF champion, Katsunori Takayama. And Butler, impressive. I don't think anybody's going to go looking for him without some sizable reward. But needless to say, here in Monaco, there are a fair few euros flying around which might tempt them.
Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, you know the results, but I'll give you the official time. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by knockout with referee Raul Kai Sr. reaching the count of 10, 1 minute and 6 seconds into the 8th round. The winner, and still the WBA and IBO strawweight champion of the world, Haki, the Executioner, Butler.
Nice show opener for us, that one.